In a world where education is key, finding the right math program for your kids is crucial. And that's where CTC Math steps in. This isn't just another math program, it's a comprehensive math curriculum covering everything from K to 12. What sets it apart? The video tutorials. They're not just educational, they're engaging, breaking down complex topics into bite-sized, understandable pieces. It's like having a math expert in your home, available anytime. And it's not about memorizing facts. It's about truly understanding math concepts, the kind of understanding that sticks with them, not just until the next test, but for life. Plus, the flexibility is unbeatable. Whether you're homeschooling or supplementing after-school learning, CTC Math fits into your schedule, not the other way around. Why not take the leap? Visit ctcmath.com today and start your free trial. Discover how a comprehensive curriculum can challenge your child's perspective on math. It's time to give them the tools they need to succeed. That's ctcmath.com.
If you're looking for Homeschool Sanity, welcome. I'm Dr. Melanie Wilson, Christian psychologist turned homeschool mom and curriculum author. But I was once so disorganized, I thought I had to quit homeschooling and stop having kids. Now, by the grace of God, I have 6 homeschool graduates. Whether we're discussing parenting, productivity, or practical tips, I pray that this episode is just what you need for happy, healthy homeschooling. There are 3 words that can ruin your day. What's for dinner? We make a decision, shop for a meal, prepare it, and almost before the kitchen is cleaned, these family members of ours are back for more. As a new homeschooling mom of 3, I knew I would benefit from meal planning, but I found the process overwhelming. If you can relate, I encourage you to grab your copy of The Organized Homeschool Life. I break the challenge of meal planning up into 4 15-minute missions that will get you started. In the Organized Homeschool Life Planner, you'll find a weekly meal planning page and grocery list, plus a space to remind yourself what you're making on the daily page. You'll have time to get your ingredients in the crock pot before you even start school. Best of all, you'll have a ready answer for the dreaded question. For even more help with meal planning, you'll want to listen to my discussion with guest Allison Schaaf. Allison is the founder and CEO of Prep Dish, a meal planning service that helps busy individuals and families save time while enjoying healthy, stress-free meals. As a registered dietitian and trained chef, Allison combines her expertise in nutrition and culinary arts to create practical, delicious meal plans designed for real life. With a passion for simplifying mealtime, she's helped thousands of subscribers reclaim their evenings and enjoy mealtime. Allison and her husband have 4 kids and enjoy living in the Texas Hill Country with their chickens, goats, cats, and bees. Thank you to CTC Math for sponsoring this episode. Here's Allison. Allison, thank you so much for joining me here on the Homeschool Sanity Show. I love talking about meal planning because I think it is such a key skill, task, whatever you want to call it, for homeschool sanity. If you don't know what's for dinner, everything feels chaotic. At least it does for me. So I'm excited to have you tell us more about that. But before we dive into the topic, I would love to have you tell us more about you and your family.
Oh gosh, yes. So I started out as a personal chef and dietitian cooking in people's homes, but this was back before I was married or had kids. And as I was doing that, I realized, I'm going to get to the family part, but when I was a personal chef, I loved it, but I also realized that people were just lacking in the skills of like figuring out how to plan their meals, how to get themselves set up for success. So I was doing that one-on-one, but I realized I had this process and system that I could bring to more people. And so that's what I did with creating Prep Dish and these meal plans. Now, fast forward, gosh, almost 15 years later, I'm now married with 4 kids. We're embarking on homeschooling next year with the older 2. And I have to use my meal plans or dinner just like flat out is like so chaotic. So it's really cool that I created something, like my past self created something that my future self now really needs.
Well, that is wonderful. Now, if you don't mind me asking, what prompted you to choose homeschooling?
Oh, goodness. So it's always been something that we assumed we would do someday. My oldest is 6, and there was an amazing school that opened up nearby, so that we sent them there. But we've always wanted to travel more. And so that's why we've always known that at some point we would homeschool. And there were a few things that came up that I was just like, I think I should do it now. Like, this is the time to find my footing, figure out the curriculums, figure out their learning styles. And like, let's do it all now when feels lower risk for me than to wait a few more years. And, we'd already been doing a few things at home, and it just felt like the right time. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Travel is definitely a wonderful blessing of choosing a homeschool lifestyle, even if it's not a lot of travel. I just know that our family loved being able to take family vacations at non-peak times. That was wonderful in terms of, just saving money and the crowds.
Yes. My husband and I are both entrepreneurs, so having the flexibility, like we both have flexibility, and we want to make sure our kids have that as well. So.
Excellent. Okay, so I want to know, because you were a dietitian and a chef, was meal planning something that just came easily for you? Was it just kind of like part of your DNA?
Honestly, I think yes. It was, but I will say once I had kids, I had a lot more empathy for those personal chef clients that I had. And even, the clients at Prep Dish, all of our subscribers, and, hearing, oh, I'm such a busy mom, or this and that. And like, now I get it in a way that I didn't pre-kids. I mean, it's always important to meal plan, and it can be difficult no matter what stage of life you are. But I think those early years with kids running around, it can just make it, you get so much added to your plate all of a sudden. And so it's really easy to kind of let it slide. But then, like you said, if you don't have your meals planned, it's really hard for the rest of the week to go smoothly. And then if you keep that up, you're not eating, you're not nourishing your body with healthy food. So then it's kind of this like downward cycle of chaos.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean, I found, and I noticed in a lot of other moms I knew who weren't meal planning, that it meant that there was a mad dash either to the grocery store at 5 o'clock or thereabouts, or you were trying to decide which restaurant to go to, what kind of takeout to get. And it was so much more expensive and time consuming, as well as being not necessarily as healthy if you had taken the time to meal plan. So if we have a listener right now, and I bet we do, who hasn't done much meal planning, where is the best place for them to start this very sanity-saving habit?
Yeah, well, I say, and I don't mean to be redundant here, but the best way to start with meal planning is to start with having a plan, but that doesn't have to be extensive, right? Like just jotting down, here's what I'm going to have each night this week. That is where you start. Like, okay, Monday night, oh, we're not going to be here. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I need to figure out dinners. Write it down, then the grocery list, and then it kind of all falls into place. You can make it a little more, add more or whatever, but the simple place to start is write it down, go into the week having a plan. And that alone, that like 1 to 2 hours up front of coming up with that plan. As you mentioned, throughout the week, it's going to save you hours of time of scrambling and just that feeling of being hectic and, oh my goodness, what are we going to eat? And let me throw some, this frozen thing of hamburger in the sink and hope it defrosts in time. We've all been there. But the more you can just have a plan up front, you're going to set yourself up for a much smoother week.
Yes. So I'm very curious to know your opinion on this. Do you think that beginning meal planners should plan all new recipes?
Oh my goodness, no. So definitely start
Good.
with familiar. Like I said, keep it easy. It can be as simple as okay, sometimes some weeks, okay, a protein, a vegetable, and a starch. Like let's have rice and green beans and chicken, and then maybe add a sauce, or maybe not that first week, depending on the week you have and the kids that you have, and that sort of thing. But know what works for you, and yeah, simple is better a lot of times. And even when it comes to taste, oh my goodness, we have a recipe at Prep Dish that's called salt and pepper drumsticks. It's literally chicken drumsticks with salt and pepper, and you put it in a hot oven so it gets crispy. It's delicious. My kids love it. Salt and pepper. It's I guess 3 ingredients: chicken, salt, and pepper.
Yes, we can tend to make it more complicated. I wrote an ebook many years ago about what happens when we try to plan all new recipes. Number one, we can be wasting time at the grocery store looking for ingredients that we've never purchased before, trying to find them, or having to, God forbid, run to another store, a specialty store, to get those ingredients. And then we run out of time because making new recipes takes so much longer because you don't know what you're doing. You have to keep looking at it and figuring out, maybe there's a different cooking technique that you haven't used before. And then it just seemed like for me, most of the time, all those fresh ingredients that I bought to make these new recipes would just go bad in the fridge while I was making my old favorites.
That's funny. That's a promise that we have at Prep Dishes. We always say, we promise we give you a grocery list and we're not going to leave any lettuce wilting in the back of the fridge. We make sure if we have a bunch of basil, if you use half in one recipe, use the other half in another recipe. Because I know it's so demotivating to buy all these groceries and have them go to waste. So we're really big on anything that's, produce that's going to wilt at the end of the week. We make sure you're using the entire thing. Even as simple as okay, you need half the bunch of celery. While you're chopping it, chop the rest for snacks and use that as a snack so that it doesn't go to waste.
Right. Oh, I love that. Okay, so when it comes to meal planning, I know the biggest challenge is for many families having family members who have special dietary needs. So can you talk about what that looks like when it comes to meal planning?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think when it comes to special dietary needs, there can be a whole range, but I would say the first key is to focus on all of the foods you still can eat. I find that there's a tendency, especially if it's a new thing, oh, you need to remove, gluten or dairy or nuts. And it's oh, well, I need to find a gluten-free bread and a gluten-free pasta. I need to find a dairy-free cheese. And yes, there may be times when you need to do that just to still give yourself, something that you're craving or enjoying. But there's so many foods that are naturally gluten-free and naturally dairy-free. And no one's going to be oh, this is a gluten-free recipe. No, it's just a really healthy whole foods recipe that happens to not have gluten naturally. So really focus on that first. And then over time, find a few subs that you can use. But focusing on all the foods that are still out there, not the one food you can't have.
That is excellent advice. I love it. So good. And just psychologically speaking, I think it's very motivating to focus on what you can eat, what you can prepare, rather than what you can't. So excellent, excellent advice. Okay, so we have our meal plan, and we've even made a grocery list, the things that we need to purchase to handle our meal plan. Do you have any tips for busy families when it comes to actually grocery shopping?
Yes. So a few things. One, if you're going into the store, make sure your list is organized by the order that the store is in. That might be different, but I know at my store, I first go through the produce. So produce is first on my list and then protein. Cause I know then it's like, the meat section. So I organize that list. And that's something I was doing back as a personal chef. I was always organizing my list, and different grocery stores were different, but I would do it that order. Now, the next key is you don't have to go into a grocery store anymore. So there are a lot of other options. So exploring options like curbside pickup, delivery, all of those different options can save a lot of time. You'll just want to compare and see, okay, what's the price difference and what fits into your budget. But oh my goodness, the convenience of just picking it up at the curbside, or even better, having it delivered to your house is, for me, most weeks worth it.
Yes, I have to agree.
Yeah.
I've done both the pickup that
Mm-hmm.
was available to us first. So we did that. And now I pay for delivery. And what I really love is when I'm in a pinch, I can have groceries delivered within a couple of hours. And the
Mm-hmm.
price is not what you would expect for that kind of service. And even to the point where when I'm having a very quick turnaround delivery, I have the shopper communicating with me in real time saying, okay, well, they don't have Honeycrisp apples. Um, would you take some pink ladies? And so it's really wonderful. If you have that service available to you, I really encourage you to take advantage of it. It is worth it, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree.
Yes. Okay, so that is something that can really save you time. Are
Mhm.
there other cooking tasks? As a personal chef, I'm sure you had to be batching some tasks. So what are some of those that families can use to save meal planning and meal prep time?
Yeah, well, so back when I was personal chef days, I was visiting my clients once a week. So I would see multiple clients versus like going for every meal. So yes, I learned how to get ready for the week in just 1 to 3 hours. And so that's still what I'm doing. And that is things like, so chopping vegetables, just chop them all at the beginning of the week. Buy some pre-chopped. That can save time too. And then, mixing up marinades and salad dressings, that sort of thing. And the beauty of doing it up front, being more intentional, like we were talking about earlier, of like having the plan, is you can figure out ways to save yourself even more time. So, for example, I would make a balsamic marinade, use it with my salmon, and then also use it as my salad dressing a few days later. Make a pesto and put it on my flank steak, but then use it in like a quinoa dish a few days later. So you can kind of double it up. It doesn't take that much longer to make double of something. You can even freeze some of it. So for like a pesto or chimichurri, something like that, make it, double it, and then, a month later, you can just pull it out and you don't even have to make a sauce that week on a week that you're really low on time. So the more you can kind of start thinking about these things up front, being a little more intentional, setting yourself up, then when it comes to dinner time, it's just kind of like throwing together the pieces that you've already prepared.
Right. And boy, if you get a head start on anything, but especially meal planning, it
Mhm.
just is so much easier to talk yourself into making a homemade meal.
Oh yeah, you're not going to order takeout. It's like I already spent time, chopping those, dicing the onion and chopping the carrots. I don't want to call in takeout. I want to, use my hard-earned vegetables. And if you have the kids involved, they're going to want to eat the food too. That's what I've learned with mine is, the other day we made a curry, which sometimes, I have pretty adventurous eaters, but sometimes they'll turn their nose up with there's a lot of new flavors. But because they helped with the chopping, they really wanted to try it. So it really helps to make it a family affair too. And especially with homeschooling, you can get everyone involved. There's so many lessons to be learned in a kitchen.
Yes. And I have also had the blessing of having kids who enjoy cooking and who
Mhm.
now, as adults, when they come home, they offer to cook for me. And my
Yeah.
answer is always yes. Yeah.
No, even my 6-year-old has started telling me he wants to cook all the meals now. So
Oh, that's
we've been picking and choosing, but when they see you, demonstrating it and you taking joy in it, they copy that. So that's, they're just little emulators.
yes. Oh, that is just fantastic. It's really an added bonus of the homeschooling
Mhm,
lifestyle.
for
Okay,
sure.
so I've heard you reference prep dish, but would you tell us more about what it is and how it benefits families?
Yeah, so Prep Dish is that system that I created back, based on my years of cooking for families, of putting together all of the resources that you need to get your meals on the table each week. It's creating a meal plan for you. So kind of like we talked about, spending an hour or two at the beginning of the week. Well, now that hour or two of like finding recipes, we have tried and true recipes. We've put it together to where, again, like half the onion is used in one recipe, half in the other. It's I have a small team of people, but these are the foods we're feeding our families, that we're feeding our kids. But what you're actually getting when you sign up for Prep Dish is access to meal plans that are a grocery list, that also have links to pre-filled Instacart shopping list. So you click one link, you're taken to the Instacart, cart, and it's filled with all the groceries. So that takes shopping down from, 1 hour to 30 minutes if you do it yourself. But if you just do the button, it's like 5 minutes. And then we have those meal prep instructions written out. So, okay, if you want to spend a few hours batch cooking, this is awesome when you're in the middle of homeschooling, because you can, set aside, okay, on this day at this time, we're going to do all of the chopping and marinades and make just one big mess versus
Mhm.
lots of messes throughout the week. So I really love the meal prep for homeschoolers. And that can be a great way to like get all of the kids in. And there's a lot of different tasks to take place. And then, there's just a set of instructions of what to do at mealtime. And again, you're not going to want to order takeout because it's like, okay, I've already put in the work. I've bought the groceries. I've chopped the things. I've mixed the sauces. Dinner's just quick and easy. It's enjoyable. There's instructions there so you can kind of delegate amongst family members. But yeah, that's, and we talked food allergies earlier. There's different plans. One, most of them are gluten-free. I'm personally gluten-free. And then we have a low carb one. We have super fast, it's just family friendly. And then a paleo one that's like grain free, gluten free, dairy free.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, you were telling me before we began our chat that you have a special offer for our listeners.
Yes. So I have a 2-week free trial set up at prepdish.com/sanity. That's the best way. Just give it a try. I always say after listening to me talk about this, if nothing else, just try it for 2 weeks, take some tips, see how we do it. And then that might even help you get on, your own meal planning journey. So prepdish.com/sanity. You can check out all the plans for 2 weeks and see how it works for your family.
That is a very generous offer. And I mean, I love that you're basically framing it as it's a great learning experience, if nothing else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can begin to practice using the batching and using ingredients in multiple recipes, getting used to recipes that are suited to your family's dietary needs and preferences, and getting the kids involved. Just a wonderful resource that you have put together. So we go to prepdish.com/sanity. Are you also on social media anywhere that people could connect with you?
Yes, at Prep Dish on Instagram. We do have a private Facebook group, but anyone's welcome to join. And then I have a podcast called Meal Prep Monday, where I talk a lot about, kitchen hacks, getting things, but then also just time management. And I've had it for years, so I go on tangents as well.
Well, wonderful. I do too.
I'm sure you can understand.
I can. I can. Well, I will put all of those links in the show notes for this episode. Allison, this has really been fun for me. I have to be honest, though, and say that I wish you were still a private chef who lived in my neighborhood, because I
Yes.
would probably hire you. I would love to have you come and cook for me for a week. But prep dish is the next best thing.
I agree.
You probably wouldn't want to do it.
I know. Yeah, no, I mean, there's weeks where I would love to. So I actually had chefs that worked for me for a while. And when we had, I think, 2 babies, I actually had one of the chefs come in and cook for us. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yes, I bet you did.
It's like, this is nice.
What a gift.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
thank you so very much for sharing with us today.
Thank you.
What a relief to know what's for dinner. The URL for the 2-week free trial again is prepdish.com/sanity. You can find it and links to CTC Math and the Organized Homeschool Life in the show notes at homeschoolsanity.com/meal planning. If you liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up on YouTube or take a screenshot and share on your favorite social media platform. Have a happy homeschool week. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. I hope something you heard was encouraging. If you have a personal question to follow up, don't hesitate to message me. I'm at Homeschool Sanity on social media. Be sure to check my free resource page at homeschoolsanity.com/resource and find Sanity Saving Curriculum at funtolearnbooks.com. This has been a production of the Ultimate Homeschool Radio Network.